How should people with reduced mobility be included overall in a building evacuation strategy, do you think?
I think as a result of the investigations we've seen, peeps are the cornerstone of that, and those becoming central to an effective evacuation strategy. And that, from the inquiry, from what we've seen so far with regards to Grenfell, that seems to be the gaping hole, or the missing piece for me is peeps. On an individual basis, we need to look more than just the building. We need to look at the individuals involved. And I would say, from what I've seen so far, it seems to be very building-centric as opposed to person-centric.
I mean, Russ, obviously this is an area that you specialise in terms of tall buildings. You've run successful conferences throughout the world on this. Is there anything you want to add to do with that overall building evacuation strategy to do with people with reduced mobility?
Yeah, I think, and just referring back to your previous question about what did we learn from Grenfell, I have real concerns about stay put now. Stay put works if the building is built to ADB and it's compliant, right? It works. As a chartered fire engineer, seeing EWS1 forms and also seeing the other issues that are being highlighted by that inspection process, not one of the buildings I've looked at has got a coherent containment within the building. It's just not compliant. So if against that background, you have to ask yourself whether stay put is valid. Now, as an ex-firefighter, if I turn up to a building, a residential building that's operating stay put, and the building is not behaving as I suspect it's going to be behaving, i.e. it's contained to a compartment, either I've got an ascending external wall fire or I've got fire spread inside the building, I have now got to switch my evacuation in mid-fire. I've got to stop thinking it's a stay put strategy, and I've got to go to phased or simultaneous evacuation. And the challenge of that in a block of flats at 3 o'clock in the morning is almost unestimably difficult for the firefighter. I think they're in an impossible situation. I do believe the only way that we can countenance either a phased or simultaneous evacuation is we do have to adopt some of the things we'd expect to see in a business building, like buddies. So your next door neighbours, you're going to have to ask them, will they be prepared to be buddies? What happens if they say no? We are going to have to do peeps. Some people are going to need us. We don't have refuges. There's no refuges in these buildings. And my real concern, and I'm sorry to be slightly melodramatic about this, is that when that decision is made with these new alerts systems that are going into the building, notwithstanding what social media would do, most of these buildings now have got WhatsApp groups amongst the occupants. If somebody says there's a fire, people are going to evacuate. And we're going to put them into staircases, single staircases, which may become smoke logged. And I really hope that we're not going to have a fire where a lot of people die in a staircase to prove that this is actually really badly thought through at the moment. I know in the States, there's a statistic in the States that in high-rise fires, about 40% of the people die in means of escape whilst evacuating. Now, if you can put all those pieces together, firefighters turn up at a building, the building doesn't appear to be behaving itself, so we've got an ascending external wall fire, or we've got smoke on a number of floors because we've got internal smoke spread because of poor compartmentation. We've got the occupants through human behaviour seeing on social media there's a fire in the building, I'm not going to stay put, I'm coming out, and they all come out into that single staircase. I think that's credible and I think it's foreseeable, and we should be talking about it a lot more.